Can I bus? Yes, you can. RIC in the place to be with David Turner for another ANC Spotlight special brought to you by the NFL Draft Bible. We'll be on location across the nation, kicking off June 7th in St. Louis. And I believe we'll have this young man participating in that event. He is Kyle Buss, UCONN wideout, the explosive wide receiver who I had a chance to recently work out. And, we are trying to put him on the NFL radar because this is someone who tested through the roof just a couple months ago. We had the honor of scouting him at the BSN Combine, and then the pandemic happened. So ANC Combine rolls to town, and we are going to get him in front of scouts, get him in front of individuals like David Turner, who's serving as the pro liaison for ANC Sports. And between David and myself, we're talking to the teams fluidly. We're going to have the ANC hot list, the top performers that we push out to the NFL teams accordingly. So with that being said, let's welcome in our guest for today. He is Kyle Buss. Kyle, good to see you again, brother. How you doing over there?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you are participating in the St. Louis Combine event. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we're honored to have you out there at ANC Combines, and David Turner, myself, Stephen Austin will all be out there. And I just want to start off with how impressed I was with you just a couple months ago. I mean, because you came out to Indianapolis, you came prepared, you were a man on a mission. I'm going to read your measurables off here in a second, which are going to gain the scouts' attention. But tell us what you took away from that performance, what you learned from it, and, kind of what you've done since then to just stay prepared through this whole pandemic.
I went in just looking at it as another great opportunity to, get my name out there a little more and get some more exposure. I'm just looking for that one shot again, and any opportunity like that, and the one coming up in St. Louis with this combine, I'm definitely going to take full advantage of. I was very excited to go to Indy and be able to show what I can do testing wise, and reiterate that certainly translates over to the football field.
And no doubt about it. And David, I don't know if you've seen Kyle's numbers, but anytime you post a 3.91 short shuttle, a 6.71 3-cone, along with a 38-inch vert, and then topping it off with a 4.5 40. I mean, these are impressive numbers that are going to gain the attention of NFL. And, these are laser times, David. I mean, Fusion Sport brought in the lasers. So as you know, traditionally, laser time's a little bit slower than handheld times. What is it that you are going to be looking for in terms of Kyle's performance at ANC Combine so that you can push him forward to the NFL teams?
I just appreciate Kyle taking the time to talk to us today so we can get to know him as a young man, because like you said, the numbers are impressive on their own, and as a standalone, definitely catches my attention initially off the bat. But Kyle, like for me, what I'm looking for is to see your route running ability in person, see how you shake off a press coverage versus push deep a man coverage, loosening up some zone coverage stuff. That's what I would like to see when we get you on the field, just to see how your workout numbers translates to playing ability on the field.
And then obviously, Kyle, you came out last year, and guys like David might not have broke down your film yet. So give us from the horse's mouth. You tell us, what David or any scout that goes and pops in your game film, tell them what they should expect to see.
They're going to see effort. They're going to see somebody with a plan, because I believe that you guys said you're looking to see how, the numbers translate to the one-on-one matchup versus man versus press. I'm somebody who believes that it's a team game, but, you got 11 guys, and I think there's 11 one-on-one matchups. So it's a chess match. You got to go in, I go into, each play with a game plan, what I'm going to do here, maybe save this for a couple plays, study my individual matchups. So I think preparation and kind of seeing, what I'm able to do play in and play out is kind of what separates me from most guys. Cause like I said, my numbers are good. I believe I'm always going to test well. But I definitely want to emphasize that certainly translates over to the field.
Yeah, when you're translating it over to the field, what's the best way to coach you, Kyle? Are you a classroom study guy, or a film study guy, or are you better at getting on the field and working with the coaches one-on-one on the field?
I think both. I love watching film. I like to study my mistakes more than my success. I'd rather watch the bad plays than the good plays, but I definitely, I'm very coachable. I'm definitely going to take any piece of advice, as far as it can take me. And, watching film, I love, personally, I like to immediately go right out on the field, even just walk through it, just to get that feel. But, I'm very studious when it comes to the film and kind of, picturing how I can make things differently or do things differently to, make my weaknesses my strength.
When you're doing your film study, how much do you watch your opponent and the corners and the defensive schemes you're about to go up against?
As much as I can. Like I said, it's, I try and figure out who, I'm going to be, aside from, their coverages, what they're going to do, what, we think they're going to do against us for the week. I definitely like to see who I'm going to be matched up against, or who, what those individual players' tendencies are. Because like I said, I'm always going to go into it with the game plan and figure out what, what I think that they're going to do, so I can adjust accordingly.
Who's one of the better corners you would say your matchup was you struggled against, and why did you struggle with them?
To be honest, I really haven't gone up against many corners, especially at UConn, because I was in the slot a lot. So I was more so up against safeties, linebackers, quick option routes. I think you're going to see on film, when you break it down, that I'm going to be lined up inside a lot of crossing, post options, corners, just slot options. So, I don't believe anybody can cover me in the slot. That's my mindset. So I'm going to go in there with, a million different options, a million different game plans, and, I'm just going to throw it all at them. So, when I see on film for the week, I see who linebacker, safeties, I love to see what they bite on, what their tendencies are, for what they, gets them to trigger that reaction. So I'm going to take all that and I'm just going to throw it all on the field.
Kyle, did you cross paths with Obi Melifonwu up there in UConn at all?
I got there. So when I transferred there, that was the year he was exiting. He went to the NFL.
Gotcha. Okay. So, David talked about your learning, how you learn. I want to talk about your leadership. Are you a vocal guy? Are you a lead by example guy? Will you pull a guy over to the side and kind of, whisper a sweet something in his ear when no one else is around? Will you give that fiery halftime locker room speech? Take us inside the Kyle Buss leadership intangibles.
I'm definitely not the vocal guy on the field. I can be sometimes, and if I feel that I need to be to get something across, and I will. But I'm more of somebody who's going to put on their hard hat no matter what's going on in their personal life or outside the facility, and show up every single day and work hard. And I believe that if you get one guy to do it, it's a domino effect. You get the next guy and the next guy, and eventually you get everybody too. So I'm definitely a lead by example, work ethic guy.
When you think about your family and friends and growing up, like what's some values that were instilled in you early in life?
Just at the day, I think what you got is family and your friends and who you surround yourself with. I believe that I was raised very well, and to see the character in people, and that's something that I was always taught to never take for granted. It's, you never know, you never judge a book by its cover. You never know what somebody's been through. You never know what somebody's going through. Somebody always has it harder than you. Just dig a little deeper into people.
Talking to Kyle Buss here, UConn slot wide receiver extraordinaire. And Kyle, as you can see, we're asking you the questions the NFL teams would want to know, and that's why we're sending it to the teams. But I want to talk about next, I guess, again, 4.59 in the 40, 19 bench press reps at 225 for a wide receiver, very good. 391 short shuttle laser, 671 three-cone laser, and then a 38-inch vertical there just a couple months ago. And we're going to have them out at St. Louis June 7th. For all you scouts out there, we will be providing an update on Kyle. But, Kyle, I want to take you back to your UConn career. And I'll say it so you don't get in trouble, but watching the quarterback play could be sometimes frustrating. And I know, not all not every game, I see it, they could have got you the ball maybe a little bit more. And, how much, I don't want to say frustrating, but how did you kind of, keep your head up, put your head down? Obviously, UConn has been through some transitional coaching changes and stuff, trying to rebound and recapture some of the old lore. But what did you take away from that experience? Not necessarily being on a winning program, having a shuffle at the head coach and quarterback position. I guess, in other words, how did you deal with the on the field adversity?
In the moment, it's something I want to win. I'm never somebody that if I have 0 catches, 0 yards, but I gotta keep block to put us ahead and we end up winning the game, I'm gonna walk out happy. So I'm always a win first team guy, but when the season's over and you start thinking about your individual career and moving on to the next level, and then you look at your stats and oh, well, you could have had this, you could have had that. You start to break down your film a little bit more and kind of it's a time to focus on yourself a little bit. It's a little frustrating, but I believe that I made the most of the opportunities that I was given, and that's all I can control what I can control. So as long as I went out there and did everything I could with what I had, that's what I got, and I'll always do that. So I'll never point the finger, play the blame game, but it was a little frustrating.
Oh, I know it was, brother. Just watching it, I'm frustrated for you. I guess my next question is, off the field adversity. What's the crossroads in your career, whether it was your football career or just in life, where you just kind of had to overcome some sort of adversity, and how did it impact you? How did you come out through it on the other side?
Well, that's I guess the best answer for that is when I transferred to UConn, and the reason why for my transfer was I was originally at Robert Morris University, SGS school in Pittsburgh, and after I played a season there, then the second game into the next season, I got a phone call that my mom was terminally ill, so I immediately withdrew and went home to take care of her. Just I didn't know how long it was going to be, but I didn't think twice. Like I said, family, friends, that's your first priority. So I went home and, put football school on hold for the time being. And a year passed and I eventually, things weren't going to get better. So, my mom did want me to get back into school. So I had made a decision to transfer somewhere. And, with the NCAA rules, it was a little tough given even with, obtaining the family hardship waiver. I had like a 6-hour radius from my hometown to transfer to. So my father actually went to UConn. So that was always, it was right there. So it was kind of, I got in contact with them and, they gave me a preferred walk-on opportunity. So I took it, and just went out there, first season, got there at the end of summer workouts to beginning of training camp. And a couple months later, middle of the season, my mom passed away. So that was probably not, that was the hardest thing that ever happened to me. And I would never wish it upon anybody, but from that just experience, coming back, finishing the season, earning a scholarship, earning a starting position, going out, just doing everything I can, like my mom would want me to. And, that situation is something that's going to happen to everybody at some point in life. And, unfortunately it happens to some people sooner than others, but, there's no moving on from it. There's moving forward. So my mom would want me to move forward and do what I do or want to do with my life, and just give it everything I had. And, what I want to do is play football, and I've always loved it. It's unconditional love for the game. And, it's something that, we talk about the family, you just can't take it for granted because you never know what's going to happen. So, but a situation like that definitely molded kind of my outlook on the future, and, just giving everything I had every day to what I want to do.
Sure.
Kyle, you know what? I'm going to apologize. I didn't recognize your name until you started talking about your story, because I was at your pro day when you came out of UConn representing the Eskimos. I was on site because that year you had a Canadian receiver coming out. So
actually, hold on, where's my wallet? Actually, matter of fact, I might still have or my wallet.
I don't know if you saw me adjust my camera for a second, because I'm like, this is the guy. I had to pull out a flash drive and put it in my computer.
At his business cards now. We might
you know what? I keep any opportunity. I keep it.
I literally put in my notes, and
so.
I'm like, I know this kid. I recommended this kid for our team back then because of what I saw at that pro day. At that pro day, he ran a 4.49 on my watch. He ran 7.03 cone, and he had a 10.3 broad jump with 38 vertical. He bench pressed 20 times with 29-inch arms. So I mean, this is a guy who weighs 185 and benched 20 times. So again, I had to take a second to get my notes out, because I'm like, wait a minute, this
is. Get out. Boom.
Yep.
There it is. I remember that.
Kyle is prepared, brother.
Hell yeah. I was like, crazy. I know this kid's story. This is like, I know this kid. And then all of a sudden I look up, I'm like, yep, it's the same guy.
That is, Kyle, you make a great point for everybody out there that's listening this Memorial Day weekend. Soak in your family. We're in lockdown. We're in quarantine. Very sorry to hear about that. And, if anybody listening can learn from that, hey, appreciate your family. Take advantage of it this weekend. We're on lockdown. Soak them up. It's a great weekend to do all that. So with that being said, Kyle, when you're not playing football, what do you enjoy outside of the gridiron? What are some of the hobbies, activities? What's Kyle Buss doing in his spare time?
Other than working out, I'm I guess what you call an introverted extrovert. I honestly just like kicking back. I love being outside. After I moved to Denver last summer, started training out here, and it's one of the best places to be if you love to be outside and just go do stuff, go on hikes, love to be around close friends, and just kick back and chill, because after I'm done working out, it's really all I want to do. But I'm a pretty laid back person, just hanging with friends and just chilling out.
Would you say you're like more into video games, or like you said, going fishing and hunting? Are you like an outdoorsy fisherman, hunter, like rugged guy?
Not really a fisherman, but definitely a hiking guy. I love to, especially out here, go and see the Rocky Mountains. There's, you can go see a new place every single day that'll just blow your mind. But I'll come back and I'll definitely sit on video games for a few hours, just kind of zone out, and maybe get on Madden and figure out some teams' playbooks, still stay prepared. But
have you ever received any disciplinary from a coach, like for any reasons at either school?
No, nope. I they like to call them 6 a.m., 5 a.m. punishment workouts, or I've never got one ever. Which is it's pretty crazy, because as a player, I know all the players out there, it's they're setting 12, 13 alarms every morning because they don't want to get one, not because they're going to do anything bad, but just sometimes you feel like if you breathe in the wrong direction, you're going to get a punishment workout or something. But I always I was always on time, always showed up with my hard hat, and just did what I was supposed to do, and beyond that.
And you have no major injuries, right, Kyle?
No.
So you've been
no pending charges, no criminal charges or anything?
Nope.
I would have had you pegged for a bank robber, Kyle. Come on now.
He just robs hearts. Look at that smile. He just robs hearts.
So much money heist over here in the.
I guess you never know. You don't ever judge a book by its cover.
Well, talking to your coaches at either school or teammates, what would be a value or say a characteristic one of them would come up with to describe you What would be consistent between teammates and coaches to talk that when they talk about you?
I guess that's one of the words I would use right there is consistency and commitment. Because I think I got our team awards for UConn. I think that the award I got was for dedication to the team and work ethic and along those lines. But yeah, that's something that if you ask any of my teammates or coaches from either school, that's something I believe that they would emphasize is that I'm going to show up on a consistent basis and produce and make those around me better. Because I think that's important too. I think it's like I said earlier, it's a team game, but it's also 11 one-on-one matchups that each guy has to be prepared for. But having said that, the team side of it, you gotta lift each other up, and you gotta be there for not just the good times, but the hard times, whether it's on the field or off the field for each other. So that's something that I believe that I bring day in and day out.
Last one for me, Kyle. You mentioned you getting caught up to speed with some of the playbooks there on Madden, and I know you were in Vikings camp, coming out. So what did you take away from that experience, and how did that kind of mold your vision and game plan to where you're at right now?
So that was I believe that I did very well there, and I was told that I did very well. I think it was an unfortunate situation where it was kind of a camp body situation that wasn't expected to do as well, I guess. But because they told me after the camp that I was, they would love to sign me, but weren't signing any more receivers as they were already filled going into camp. But would contact me if they needed one, which ultimately didn't end up happening. But I went in there, and it was actually the offense that we ran at UConn my senior year was from Coach John Dunn, who came from the Bears, not with the Jets, but it was a pro style offense, from that NFC division. So I actually got into camp, like, this is the same exact thing I just so it was, I was able to, they had me running, 2-3 different positions, which I had no problem with because it was, I was just running this a few months ago. But other than that, I took out of, I can play at this level. This is somewhere where I believe I belong, because I definitely proved to myself, and I believe I proved to them and other people that I definitely belong and can produce at this level.
Last one for me, just talking about your career and where you're headed. Let's just say, like, when I was with the Canadian football team, we wanted to sign you. Is that a route you have an open mind to, that you would take to get to your ultimate goal, which is back in the NFL and playing there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in a position where I don't want to make anyone seem like, I feel like I'm better than anything or any league organization. I'm in a position, like I said, I have an unconditional love for the game that I just want to play. And, I understand that certain situations and circumstances, prevent, possibly getting on an NFL team right now or the near future or what it may be. But I'm open to, just playing football. Because I believe that, like I said, I can play with the best, and, whatever route I'm given, they're given the opportunity to show that, I'll definitely take it.
Good to know.
Yeah, man, great answers here. We took up a lot of your time, but hey, great football conversation tends to do that here. So we appreciate you hopping on. I guess before we let you go, any parting shots to the people? Anything you want to tell the scouts out there that are listening, the scouts that'll be in attendance at the ANC combines? Thank yous. The floor is yours, my man.
I want to thank you guys for having me on the show, and just thank all the people, friends, family, trainers, close ones that have supported me, not just throughout my journey to play football in the NFL, but throughout all adversity and all things that have been going on recently in my life and in their life. But yeah, that's I'm very grateful and appreciative of all those around me.
Well, hey, we appreciate you hopping on this ANC Spotlight edition with David Turner, Kyle Buss, Rick Saratella. Hey, Kyle, I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person, brother, because I'm getting tired of these Zoom chat
Yeah.
you know, we're a couple weeks away. Hang in there. We do appreciate some time. And big shout out to Eric Eastham, too, your agent there that we're in communication with, helping to coordinate this whole thing. So for Kyle Buss, UConn.
Yeah, also thank you, Nam. I forgot about that.
I got you covered, brother.
Sorry.
Destination St. Louis, June 7th. All you NFL teams, keep it locked. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at ANC Combines, at NFL Draft Bible. We'll be providing live coverage, putting out all the results. Of course, David Turner will be in attendance as our pro liaison, and we are both in constant communication with the teams, trying to identify talent. We're back on the road, on location across the nation. If you got talent, we will find you. The pandemic has thrown a monkey wrench into the whole process, so now we're coming and ramping everything back up. So, hey, keep it locked. Make sure you log on to NFLDraftBible.com. If you're watching on the All Access Football Network YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe there. We'll be running these interviews leading up, during, and after the ANC Combine, so we appreciate all the love and support. Till the next time, everybody.